watching Rogers TV.
Well, a big warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. We're going to be talking all about the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario today, of course, affectionately known as CHEO. We're going to be talking about CN Cycle. We're going to start with the wonderful Emily Jameson from the CHEO Foundation. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having us today.
I'm so excited. You have a big, impressive title at the foundation. What is that title?
It's VP Corporate Philanthropy and Community Engagement. And essentially what that means is I get to oversee our wonderful corporate team and our events team as well, which involves CN Cycle for CHEO.
Which is wonderful. You work 24/7. I know this because you send me emails all sorts of time of day. Yes,
I do.
And this event, of course, happening on May the 4th is right around the corner. When I hear CN Cycle, I feel spring. Yes. One of those big first events in spring, right?
Yes.
Tell me all about it. Give me all the details.
Yeah, so it really is the first outdoor event that you'll see within the community for the year. And it is a cycling event, and it is Ottawa's largest cycling event. All the proceeds go to oncology, so care and research at CHEO, critical care and research at CHEO, I should say. This event since 2008 has raised $18 million, which is incredible. I know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Last year alone, we raised $2 million. So it is our largest fundraiser. And, you know, for me, it's so beautiful because the community comes out, whether you're walking or cycling, there's something for everybody. But it truly is one of those events that's essential for the foundation to raise funds for care at CHEO.
And the funds go directly to something really important.
Absolutely. And you're going to learn a little bit more about that through some of your other guests today. But it really is about care for the patients and their families. You're going to be talking to Carissa today. She's 17 years old. She has gone through cancer herself. And, you know, every time I hear stories about patients and their families, it's a reminder of why we do what we do and why events like this are so, so important. Not only is it something fun to come out to, if you're an avid cyclist, but if you're a community member that really believes in giving back, it's a great opportunity to do that.
Here's what I love about CN Cycle. It's not a race.
Oh, it's not a race.
Right.
Oh, and we encourage people not to race.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So that's a really important point, I think, because when I hear that, I hear family event. I hear cycling of all. It ranges in terms of
we've got different kilometers, right? So different routes that we have. And actually this year I'm really excited to announce that we have our first century ride. So if you're in the cycling community, you know that's a 100-kilometer ride. And it's across the border too. So it's not just in Ontario. Wow. We've partnered with the NCC and on the Quebec side, and we have a beautiful route for avid cyclists to go throughout the Ottawa area and also up through Gatineau.
Well, how special is that?
It really is.
Wow, that's amazing. You're always, you know, although you've been doing the event a long time, it's not like you've created this event and then you never refresh it.
No.
That's the other thing. You're always making it better.
Of course.
You've got incredible partners on board as well. You couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely not. So CN alone has been doing this with us for years. We have incredible corporate supporters as well. We have our dream team, our McDonald's dream team. So that's our patient ambassadors every year. And McDonald's has been sponsoring that for about 15 years now.
Wow, that's incredible.
They're an incredible community supporter, and they sign up with their team as well, and they show support. And this is just a local group of franchise owners of McDonald's that every year come out, support us, fundraise for us, and also give back through sponsorship, but also personal donations as well.
I love that. I love that. That's to me, that's corporate philanthropy to me, when somebody is all in. And we always talk about philanthropy, time, talent, and treasure. So they're throwing all three at this event.
And you know, what we often hear from our corporate supporters is our employees believe in giving back to CHEO so passionately. We really want to support their interests and also give a corporate gift to you, which we hear time and time again. So what you can see from a participation standpoint is we have a lot of individuals that will come out to at the event. A lot of friends and families, and I've signed up, by the way, too, so you can come on my team.
Yes.
And then corporate. We have a lot of workplace teams that join, and it's a really good opportunity for, obviously, engagement within the workplace. People will bring their families as well. So if you're looking for employee engagement opportunities, we encourage different corporate entities to come out and join us, because it's not just fun, right? It's about the community, and you really, truly, if you've been there before, you understand how much of a community event this is. You know, you have past patients that are there. People have different team names, so you'll see like Michael Minions. We've had Griff Gang over the past few years, and it really is to rally around those patients. So yeah, it's a beautiful event, and we encourage everyone to join us.
I want to tell you some really good news.
Oh.
So I reached out to all of my friends who are meteorologists, and I said to them they need to provide sunshine.
Absolutely.
On May the 4th.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it is a rain or shine event.
Right.
So if it rains, the event continues to go on. And we've had rain in the past, but most times it's actually sunshine. And it really is a kickoff to spring. But we go either, whether it's raining or not, it is a full fun event. And yeah.
And I have to say, with the winter we've had...
Sorry, I laugh because I live in Ottawa, so it's been a winter, yes.
So I just think people are even more excited to get involved.
Oh my gosh,
involved. So if I don't know how to, I'm going to tell you the secret.
Tell me.
I don't really ride a bike anymore.
Well, don't worry, you can walk.
Okay, so I can walk, I could also volunteer, right?
You can volunteer as well.
Okay, so what would I be doing if I was a volunteer?
So there's lots of different roles, and actually there's 700 volunteers that we need.
Wow!
Yeah, so when I say the community comes out there, they are participating. So we had 7,000 participants last year, or they're volunteering. And you're anywhere from like a route captain, and by the way, we do need a few route captains right now, which is a great way to cheer on people. You're at a specific station and you get to absolutely all the different routes going by, you cheer them on, but you make sure everything's safe, safety first, right?
Of course.
There's volunteers for supporting some of our food services, supporting some of our corporate entities that come through. Yeah.
Wow.
There's volunteers across the board.
So if someone's watching right now, listening right now, and they're like, okay, Emily, I'm in, how can I volunteer? What are they doing?
What are they doing? They're going to cncycle.cheofoundation.com and they can simply click on a link to volunteer and register. And it's as easy as that. We have a wonderful volunteer team that will get in touch. They'll make sure you're assigned to a specific, whether it's a route or specific position, and then they'll send you information, and then you're all signed up.
Here's what I know about volunteering for any event at CHEO, because I was so blessed last year. I got to serve pancakes last year at your teddy bear picnic, and which was a lot of fun. But it becomes a little bit of addictive. Like people come and then they're like, okay, what's the next event and what's the next event? So it's a great way to create community as well.
Absolutely. And you know, for people that they might not be able to financially give back to CHEO, volunteering is a great way to give back. Our volunteers are doing just as much support and work and advocacy for us, so we encourage more volunteers across the board to come and support CHEO.
And where are we kicking off? Where are we all meeting on May the 4th to start the wonderful event?
So it's at the War Museum. Which is wonderful, and we've been there for years now. It's a great location. It's our central hub, and so there's tents across the board. But if you're a volunteer, you'll have all that information sent to you where to participate. We do tend to close down a lot of roads within the community as well, but we have shuttle buses from Tunis, Pasteur, and LeBreton Platz as well.
And it's wonderful because it's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
So, you know, in terms of disrupting the world, everybody's a bit chiller on a Sunday.
Everyone's a little bit more chill, and it's early, don't forget, right? So our 100th Century Ride goes out at 7, and we try to wrap by noon time frame so that the community can open up. By the time you've done your brunch, you're good to go within the community.
If I was starting at 7 on a Sunday, I would end the next Sunday at 7. That's how long it would take me.
That is why I've signed up for the 2-kilometer walk with my family. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and so they're a little bit slower. And that's the beautiful thing about this event. You know, we have our avid cyclists that come out. They participate in the 100-kilometer, 70K, 35K, and so, you know, they have those options as well. But for families, you have the option of doing a 15K, cycling 5 kilometers or 2 kilometers, and that's a walk too. So it's fully accessible for anybody that wants to participate.
And, you know, I mean, I've obviously spoke to you about this event for many, many years. And what I love about it is that people take it so seriously in terms of fundraising. Like, they're not messing around. They know it's going to be a fun day.
No.
But they are right now at the office, at at different community events. They're appealing for donations for this event. So the fundraising is really key.
The fundraising is key because that's how we raise most of the dollars that go back to pediatric oncology, right? Which is so critical for CHEO as well. But we do make it fun. Yeah. If you fundraise over 500, you get a jacket. If you fundraise 200, you get a cycling shirt or an athletic shirt. If you fundraise $100, you're getting like a flashy pair of socks.
Oh, fun.
But there really is, with employees especially, we see this, we'll have like 2 teams within said corporate entity, and they're like actually competing to raise funds. But there's prizes too, right? So if you're the top fundraising workplace team, you're winning gift certificates to Bushtaka. So we like to kind of incentivize people. And then even there's a Disney cruise that people can win as well.
If they raise,
that's right. If you fundraise up to $750, you get added into a ballot for a Disney cruise for 4. So it's the entire family's going.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that. I mean, CHEO is just an organization in our community that everyone rallies around and just feels that they've got some sort of connection. And I've said this to you before that, before I had my daughter, I would say, oh, wow, I'm so glad we have CHEO. The minute as a mom that you realize, oh my heavens, I may need to go to CHEO, and I've gone to CHEO, it changes.
It does.
It's not about the bricks and mortar. It's about the people. It's about the healthcare team.
And I'd have to say, so as a mom myself, I would echo that 100%. And actually, my kids have gone through CHEO and are currently through CHEO. But it's even if you don't have children, your neighbor, your niece, your colleague, everybody's impacted in one way or another by CHEO. And as soon as someone hears that I work for CHEO, I hear a story. I always hear a story coming back, and it's the community truly that created CHEO. I don't know if you know the story, but over 50 years ago, it was a group of moms that got together. They didn't want to travel anymore, and they said, we need a pediatric hospital here in Ottawa, right? And it's the community continues to give back, and the only reason we thrive as an institution is because of community support. You'll hear from another Emily today, whose whole role is funded by the foundation, and there's multiple roles throughout the hospital that wouldn't exist if it weren't for community support and the foundation. So, when I talk about this event not just being about the event itself, it truly does give back to CHEO Hospital in the way, and it supports its everyday function.
It's incredible. Remind me again of the website. Where are we going to make a donation, to volunteer, to participate? Where are we headed?
So we are going to cncycle.cheofoundation.com, and I'm hoping that someone can put that lovely...
They will. I'm sure they will.
Okay, beautiful. And they can register to participate. You can select a team to support. So I'm under there, by the way, if you want to support my team, is Norton Jameson Family and Friends.
Great.
And you can also, go and make personal donations, sign up, volunteer. There's so many different ways to get involved.
Fantastic.
And if you're not around for May 4th, there's lots of other ways to get involved too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you as always, my friend.
It's so lovely to be here, Sam. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Emily Jameson joining us today from the CHEO Foundation. When we come back, what's better than one Emily? Well, it's 2. You'll meet Emily Johnson. Come on back, everyone.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, I'm Paula Roy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back into my kitchen for another season of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods. My approach to food is pretty straightforward. Fancy is fine, but when you're in a time crunch or have a really hungry and patient family to feed, I say simple recipes made with wholesome ingredients that you probably have on hand are the best. And that's exactly what you'll find on Paula Roy's Favorite Foods on Rogers TV.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they face the same penalties, like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa. Watch the local campaign on Rogers TV and on election night, the local results. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts, a racist practice that may stop this Indigenous mother from going home with her newborn. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
And we're back on An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. We're talking all about the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario today, specifically focusing on CN Cycle, which of course is happening May the 4th. I'm hoping you're going to be there, ride your bike, walk, volunteer, and obviously contribute. I want to find out more about where the funds go. And of course, we're invited the one and only Emily Johnson to join us today. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good, thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me.
You have such an interesting job. I could talk to you all day because I think it's fascinating. First of all, tell me what you do at CHEO.
So I am a psychologist in the hematology and oncology department specifically.
Amazing. So tell me, give me the sense of what a day in the life of Emily would be.
Sure. So I do a lot of things. So anytime a child has a mental health difficulty associated with their illness, so whether that be a blood disorder or cancer, they might be able to see me. So I do assessments, I provide therapy, and I also consult with my team to help them understand our patients' needs and how to best support them.
And I'm just going to say years ago, and I would say probably a decade ago, we met for the very first time. And you were studying and you were working so hard, Emily. You were working so hard. And to see where you are today, it's joyful for me.
Thanks.
It really is. So give me a sense of why you chose this career.
Well, that's a big question. So, I mean, I'll speak specifically to this job. This is a really unique job, like you said earlier. So I'm so lucky I get to work with really amazing kids and families that are, going through, for many of them, the toughest time in their lives. So it's a true privilege and honor for me to get to support them through that time. We know from a lot of research and clinical practice that mental health supports are really, really crucial for kids going through these times in their lives. So I feel really lucky that I get to do this work, and I also get to work on an amazing team. So that's one of the coolest parts, I think, about this job is that I work with some really amazing social workers and child life specialists and nurses and oncologists. I think you're going to meet one of my colleagues in a little bit, Dr. Thacker. So, I mean, that's what makes this job really special and why I love it so much.
And, when I think about, obviously, all the money that's raised for CHEO, we sometimes think, oh, well, where does the money go, right? And what I love is your position is funded by the foundation. Like, if I'm giving a gift, I'm going to contribute to the fact that you're going to help all of these incredible kids. I think meeting you today will be really special for many people because I think sometimes that's the missing piece for us as donors is where are we making that investment, and making an investment into you is making an investment into kids.
My job wouldn't exist without the donor funds. So yeah, it's really there's something really tangible happening with that money every day at the hospital.
100%. Sure. And I think from my perspective, I still find it hard. I have a friend whose son was diagnosed last year with cancer, and I find it so hard to hear 3-year-old, 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 12-year-old, 17-year-old diagnosed with cancer. I don't think, I find those words can't even go together in the same sentence. How do you sort of work, in your work, that's what you deal with all day long, how do you sort of take care of yourself as well?
It's all about the team, honestly. Yeah. I have a wonderful team, and truly, like I said earlier, it's such a privilege for me to work with these kids and families. Like, at the end of the day, I'm lucky. Like, I'm lucky that I get to walk with these families and be with them in this time. So that's what makes it worth it at the end.
And I think what I learn about CHEO, and I've done literally hundreds of interviews with people from CHEO, and I'm honored to do that, is that, yes, CHEO is the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, children are the focus, but the family wraparound that happens. So, and even just what you described in terms of a child's diagnosed with cancer, they're going through oncology treatment, it's not just about the physical part, it's about the mental health piece. That, I mean, that's really innovative, right?
Well, I mean, it's best practice in oncology, pediatric oncology care. So there are lots of guidelines that say mental health care is really crucial, right? So we're lucky at CHEO that we have the team that we have. Not every hospital has a dedicated oncology psychologist. I think more and more we're seeing that across Canada. But it's as important as the physical aspects of care, right? And sometimes they go together, and that's why it's really special to have a position dedicated to this, this team. Previously, I have wonderful colleagues at CHEO who work broadly across the hospital and who would have supported our families and patients, but it's really nice to have the specialized level of care within the team.
And I've heard from other moms that kids still want to be kids, right? And I hear that all the time. Talk to me a little bit about what you would hear. Obviously, the confidentiality is of the utmost here. But what do you hear? What are the unique challenges that maybe one of those great kids coming in and facing cancer? What do they share with you?
It's really unique. So I mean, it's getting diagnosed with cancer really upends a child's life, right? So, of course, when we think about kids with cancer, we think about the treatments they have to go through. They might lose their hair. They're spending a lot of time in hospital. But sometimes they can't see their friends for long periods of time, or their family, and they feel lonely, and life is kind of going on with their friends, and they're stuck at CHEO, and that's really tough, right? So not only are they managing the physical aspects of their illness and their treatment, kids aren't supposed to be in the hospital for long periods of time, right? So I get a chance to support our kids with those types of challenges. And there's other things that are difficult about having cancer, like, the procedures, having many needles, pokes, MRIs, that can be really tough for kids, especially if they are already a little bit anxious. So I support a lot with that type of thing. And then there are things we don't think about that come kind of along the journey, right? So transitioning back to life after treatment, right? So, okay, now I look different, I feel different, I've had this experience. Where do I fit back into my friend group and back into my day-to-day life, right? And then years down the road, sometimes people might have, unfortunately, trauma symptoms from what they've been through, or they might just be processing that fundamental, life experience. And those are some of the things that I get a chance to support with.
And, I can only imagine how heart-wrenching some of those conversations are. And on the flip side, you may see someone that's doing really well. How do you sort of balance the days where one might be really tough and one might be a bit of a celebratory conversation?
I think, I don't know that I have an answer for how I do that. I think all of the work is equally rewarding, right? So I said it earlier, I really do find it to be a true privilege being able to walk people through the tough times and the good times, right? So of course, whenever one of our kids has a bell ringing when they reach the end of treatment, it's we call it as many people as we can, and everybody cheers and claps, and I try to make it to as many of those as I can, even if it's a family I don't know super well, because that's always a nice boost in the day. But at the end of the day, I just think about the families, right? And I think, I want to give them the best care possible, because that's what they deserve.
Take me back to close to a decade ago when we first met. If I would have said to you, Emily Johnson, you were going to work at CHEO. Oh, I get emotional. You're going to work at CHEO. You're going to have this great job. What would you have said a decade ago?
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky, truly. Like, it's such a unique and privileged position to have, and I feel really fortunate that I get to do it.
And I hear you do it really well. Yeah, which is wonderful. So CN Cycle, what does it mean to you?
Well, like I said earlier, obviously our donor funds are super important, right? So, excuse me, I think, we don't always see from the outside, like, cancer is expensive, right? Our families, our parents have to take time off of work or change their work. We think about extra gas money, parking money, expensive equipment sometimes that kids need, additional services or supports. Obviously, we do what we can at CHEO, but sometimes there's a sibling who might need extra mental health support, right? It's expensive. So our donor funds, and I know CN Cycle is one of the biggest ones, right? As Emily was saying earlier, it's a big deal for us. It can make a real difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Our oncology fund, the money has a big impact, and so CN Cycle is really important. And I know it's a nice chance for some of our kids to get to tell their stories and celebrate their success too, which is really cool.
And we're going to meet a superstar next, Carissa, and I know you've been chatting with her in the green room.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have her tell her story, and those are those moments, I think, as a community that we hear about CN Cycle. We know it's going to be a fantastic event, but when we put a face to CN Cycle, it all changes, right? Would you agree?
I totally agree. I think Chris is excited to tell her story, and I'm really glad she'll get the chance to do that and share.
Absolutely. What would you say to all the donors?
Thank you. Like I said, I hope seeing, talking to Carissa, talking to people who work on the front lines like me and Dr. Thacker, seeing how far that money does go and how much of an impact it has for our families.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate it very much. Emily Johnson, of course, joining us from CHEO. When we come back, don't go anywhere, because Carissa is going to be right here on An Hour to Give. Thank you so much, Serena.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV, Channel 22. I'm Josh Rackless. The Cottage Life and Backyard Show in Ottawa is the perfect event for outdoor enthusiasts and homeowners looking to enhance their cottages and backyards, and also perfect for people like me who want to make friends with someone who has a cottage this summer. Hint, hint. It runs from April 11th to the 13th at the EY Centre and features expert advice, innovative products, and inspiring ideas for outdoor living. Visitors can explore displays on docks, decks, landscaping, water toys, along with energy-efficient solutions for cottage life. With interactive exhibits and hands-on demonstrations, the Cottage Life and Backyard Show is a must-attend event for anyone who loves outdoor living and cottage culture, or just wants a friend with a cottage. Visit eycentre.ca for full details. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. It's that easy.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play, and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
Well, I promised you a superstar, and I have delivered. Carissa is joining me now. She is a patient at CHEO, and she has quite a story to tell. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I like your hat.
Thank you.
So, and you've got a jacket. You're all decked out. CN Cycle for CHEO. You're ready for May 4th.
Yes, I am.
Yes. And what does CN Cycle mean to you? When you think about this event as a patient at CHEO, how do you feel about it?
It means a lot to me because it shows all the people that are trying to raise money for so many amazing things that are going on at CHEO, and so many amazing kids.
Amazing kids,
And
for sure.
I'm excited and like really happy that so many people are trying to be a part of this fundraiser.
Absolutely. So take me back to when you were 8 years old. What happened when you were 8?
So when I was 8 years old, I got diagnosed with cancer, and it was leukemia. So I had to leave home because there wasn't a really stable hospital in my little town in Timmins.
Timmins, yeah. You came to where?
I went to CHEO.
CHEO in
Yes.
Ottawa. So you called CHEO home for a little bit. What was that like?
It was really good because so many amazing people came together to treat my cancer, and slowly but surely I've been going back to normal and regaining my strength and going back to school, and I've been gaining passions on what I want to do in the future. Like, I've been thinking about jobs and getting a license, and I'm so happy that I finally get to go out into the world and try so many amazing things.
We're so excited for you. Do you remember, I mean, it was close to a decade ago, so
Yes.
it's a long time ago, but I'm sure a lot of those memories stay with you. Do you remember those days? Do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, it was really long.
Yeah.
And it was tedious every day, having to wake up and like go through the treatments. There was always something to do. It felt like it was never ending, right? Appointments, testing, always in the hospital. I was bedridden for so long that I ended up losing all the mobility in my legs. And I was in a wheelchair for 5 years.
Really? And you walked in this studio
Yes,
today.
I did.
Look at that smile. Yeah, pretty impressive. Do you think that this has changed you as a person?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see it as something that encouraged me for the future. Even though it was a bump in the road, I feel like my journey has helped me make me into the person I am today, because it has shaped me and given me so many different opportunities to learn and gain experiences from all the hardships.
Wow. Pretty mature.
Yes.
Tell me about your family.
My family has been a big part of my recovery, and I'm so happy that they've been there for me this entire time, helping me go to appointments and everything, and especially my brother and my mother have been there for me.
What would you say to them?
I would say that I'm very proud that they're a part of my family. Yeah.
And what about your friends? Like at 8 years old, I can only imagine that it's challenging. You're leaving you're leaving Timmins, you're heading to Ottawa. What was it like to kind of work through that? Was it a lonely time for you?
It was a hard transition, especially because I was so young.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was so young that I didn't really know what was going on, right? I had to leave home so suddenly. I still have connections with a couple of my friends, but because it was so sudden, I never really got to experience those childhood memories, like going to school. I was always going to appointments and stuff. But even so, I feel like I've made a lot of friends here, so I'm thankful for that. And a lot of people have helped me through my cancer treatment.
And talk to me about the team at CHEO. I mean, you would have met so many of the nurses and oncologists and doctors and healthcare workers. Talk to me a little bit about all the people. Do you remember any of them? Do they stand out for you?
My physiotherapist, Brenda, has been she was the one helping me recover and regain my muscles, and especially Eloise as well. She was a big part of my recovery as well, helping me through the difficult times because I got to go talk to her and speak about all my problems.
What would you say to other kids that are maybe facing cancer at a young age?
I would tell them that even though it's difficult, you should always focus on the positive, even as little as it might seem, because at the end, there will be a light, and you'll be able to cross it and overcome the struggles, because it will shape you into the person you are. All those experiences, all those struggles, I really see it as a way for people to overcome their struggles if they just keep fighting.
Wow, look at you. You're so inspirational.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you're inspirational?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
really
good.
proud of my accomplishments.
You should be. You should be, absolutely. I'm going to love watching your journey. So tell me about CN Cycle Day. How do you spend that day? How will you spend that day on May the 4th?
I'm going to try my best to be a part of it. Hopefully I can try to walk or run and be a part of the fundraiser.
Yeah, that's important. And are you also helping to raise money?
Yes.
Yeah, which is I love that part. Yeah, I'm a much better fundraiser than a runner. I'll tell you that. That's me anyway. But that's wonderful to see that. And have you attended the event before?
Yes, last year I was an ambassador for CN Cycle, and that's why I got this merch. It's very nice.
Yeah, you got the swag.
Yes.
You're looking hip. Yeah, and there's just so much like coming together, because it is one of the very first events for spring, so it kind of feels like spring kicks off with this event, and then everybody's there early on a Sunday morning, and they're all getting out of bed and coming to the beautiful War Museum to be able to have this experience. Do you get kind of emotional thinking about that everyone's getting up early to support all these great kids like you?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
And talk to me a little bit about what you're doing now.
Currently, I'm going to Algonquin for dual credit, so I'm working on doing architecture right now.
How cool is that?
Yes.
And when's your birthday?
July 28th.
That's my favorite time of the year. I love it. That's a great day. Great day to have a birthday. So you're going to be 18 soon.
Yes.
And 18 is a fun year. Yeah, you're going to have fun at college. Yes. And so talk to me a little bit about maybe what do you see for yourself in 5 years from now? Where are we going to see Carissa?
Hopefully I have a good, substantial job. I really want to, my dream currently is I want to save up money, and hopefully one day I want to build my own house.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's a great dream.
That's my goal, yes.
Yeah, that's a great goal. And when you look back and maybe someday you have your own children and you go back and tell them about your time, what would you share with them?
I would tell them about the things I overcame, and hopefully I could give my wisdom and my encouragement so that they grow up to be kind and respectful and understand other people's sacrifices and respect other people just as much as I respect everyone else.
Beautiful. And the friends you have now, do they know the struggles you've been through?
Yes, multiple of them, yes.
Yeah. And how do they react to that?
They're shocked at first, but all of them, because we're so young too, even through our struggles, we all have our own difficulties. And I find that even though after they hear my story, we're still just as close. There's nothing that changes between us, because even though it defines us in a way, it's like we overcame those struggles and we go to a new beginning and we move forward even through the struggles.
And you and Mom, when you're maybe just driving in the car, do you ever reflect on that time, or have you tried to move on as a family?
We still think about it occasionally, but I feel like sometimes I do think about it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's part of your family fabric almost, right? Yeah. And the big date, as I said, is May 4th, and you're going to get to meet lots of great people that day as well. And being an ambassador and having this opportunity to share your story, do you ever sort of tell somebody and they're just so surprised that, because you look, you're so positive and you're so, you've got so much energy, are they just so surprised that you've been through these struggles?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. And you're wearing that great CN hat. So we've got lots of partners that are involved in this event, of course. And you think about all the doctors and nurses and all the people at CHEO that will come out and bike and run and walk that day as well. So not only do they work there, but they're coming out and supporting this event. Is that important to you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And I think about I have a 17-year-old daughter too, by the way.
Oh.
And I think about all of the things that, she's going to get to experience in her life and the resilience that you've had to really just overcome this on your own. It really is remarkable that you've done that, and you've just got such a beautiful energy and a beautiful spirit, and I know on May 4th you're going to be able to share that with everybody. How can we donate to you if we want to donate to your page?
I don't really know.
Well, we'll go to the cncycle.ca. We'll check it out and we'll look you up. Carissa is your first name. So we'll look up and see how we can make a donation to you. And we'll make sure to try and boost your fundraising results and get out there and support this great event. I'm so grateful that I got to meet you today and that you got to spread your sunshine with all of us today. And I can't wait to see the journey that you're going to take and share all your great talents. Look forward to hearing all about Algonquin and all the great things you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a real honor. Thank you so much. Carissa joining us today, and she's just an absolute superstar. We're so happy that she was able to join us today and talk about CN Cycle. May 4th is the big day. They're looking for volunteers, obviously looking for people to participate, and of course, to donate. I'm Sam Laprade. We're coming back. Dr. Thacker is making a house call. Stay with us on An Hour to Give.
I think they're both going to be able to handle Trump. But I think, people are concerned because Pierre Poilievre is supported by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They have said good things about him, so that's a bit of a concern.
I'm hoping that it's going to get more people out to vote. That's the most important thing, that people realize that by casting their vote, they're talking to the future of their country.
Not really. I'm voting for Pierre Poilievre. I think he's going to do a good job.
A lot of disinformation, and I know personally for me, every time I hear those same signals being shared, even through legacy media, to me that's a wake-up call that we cannot go down that path.
I've been paying attention to it. It's affected other things, but not really with who I'm trying to vote for.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Hi, I'm Meg, and this is Fit Finley. Join me for Season 3 of Fit Over 50 with Meg, exclusively on Rogers TV. You're going to love the workouts that I lead you through. We're going to be using resistance bands, weights, your own body weight, and a chair. These workouts are for people over the age of 50, but no matter what age you are, you're going to love them. Can't wait to see you then.
Dr. Nariv Thacker is joining us now from CHEO, and I'm so excited. Today, of course, is all about CN Cycle and those important funds that are used for oncology at CHEO. Dr. Thacker, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having me here and all of our team.
It's so wonderful. So tell me what you do at CHEO. What's your role?
Yes, so I'm actually a pediatric neuro-oncologist at CHEO and also a researcher with doing clinical trials. And for me and at CHEO, right, our vision is to have clinical trials that are not only achieving cure, but achieving meaningful cure. And meaningful cure, I would like to say, is cure with great quality of life.
You are speaking my language. So I am a big fan of clinical trials. Big fan. And I think people that maybe haven't had any experience with them, they feel a bit mysterious. So what you've just said is really important to me. So talk to me about when someone enters a clinical trial, Talk to me about what you're hoping to achieve with that patient.
Yes. So as I said, so pediatric oncology, unfortunately, we have where we are not able to cure all the patients, although we have come a long way. And I specifically do brain tumors. And so in pediatric oncology with brain tumors, we do achieve cures in some cases, but it comes with a lot of price to pay because they get radiation, they get chemotherapy. So although there is cure, it comes at a heavy price, which they have a lot of long-term effects. So what we are currently trying to do with the trials that we are designing at CHEO is to completely redefine the way we fight cancer, which is to try and do it without any compromises. So try and achieve that without actually, or having minimal effect at the quality of life and that long-term effects. So the two trials that we are currently leading from CHEO, and it's not only at CHEO, we are actually leading this trial across Canada and globally in other countries as well, as with CHEO being the lead site. And the two trials that we're doing, one is for low-grade gliomas, it's called Victory. And low-grade glioma is a tumor which keeps recurring in younger patients, and unfortunately they have to go to multiple lines of therapy. What we are trying to do through this trial is combine chemotherapy with a new specialized targeted therapy to try and see if we can break this cycle. Wow. And the second study which we are leading it has even a bigger impact. It's for high-grade gliomas, or what commonly people know as glioblastomas. And unfortunately, there is no sort of curative option for majority of them. What we are trying to do is try and give immunotherapy before radiation to these kids to try and see if we can cure them and obviously have less of long-term toxicities. And this is the first trial that is doing that actually across the globe. And also it's the first trial where we are collaborating with other partners in low and middle income countries where actually 80% of burden of cancer lies. So we are trying to have an impact which is huge and making Canada the center of it.
Wow. So there's so much to dissect in that, honestly. So let's just talk about the fact this is a city of 1 million people, and we have world-class research being done in this city at our hospital, CHEO.
That is correct.
So what that does, and I'm sitting across from you, it attracts brilliant minds and brilliant talent. So you get to work with incredible people. They get to work with you. How important is that to you?
Oh, I think there is no success without great team, and the team defines how you are, right? And the most important component of this team are actually our patients. And our donors, right? Because research, NGOs and government funding is there, but it only goes to an extent. So without community participation and donors, actually, we cannot do the good work that they're doing. And obviously without our patients, we don't have anything to offer. So I think those are the critical components. And I should probably tell you the story about the second trial, right? Because it is very important.
Yeah.
So for glioblastomas, unfortunately, with current therapy, I said there is no cure. Almost all patients will die within 2 years of diagnosis. And the only way we know to treat them currently is giving radiation, having surgery, doing radiation, and then following up with chemotherapy. And when we wanted to use this immunotherapy, it was from the lab data with one of our collaborators at University of Toronto that we got that data. We were like, why don't we try and use this? Because we are not doing anything for these patients. And when the first patient we used this therapy, when obviously it was at progression, not when they were diagnosed, the response that we saw on the scan, so I was sort of the younger of the group at physicians that time. There were researchers, there were families, and you could see tears in everybody's eyes. It was that emotion because you don't see, and it's difficult in science to use a term such as miracle, but to see that response in patients who die at 2 years was something surreal for us. And then when we got a bigger cohort of patients, we actually saw that 80% of those patients, so 8 out of 10 patients at recurrence were alive at 3 years. And that's how we thought, why don't we offer this opportunity to children upfront and try and avoid radiation altogether? And that is how the idea of this trial was born.
Look, just look at your smile explaining that to me.
Oh, it is.
As a researcher and an oncologist, I can't imagine what that does for you. It must just spur you on to just keep going, right?
Yes, I think there's nothing more that and I can tell mostly for all physicians, that nothing more that makes us more happier than to see a smile and tears of joy in our families and patients.
Beautifully said. You mentioned how crucial the donors are in that mix, right? And I think as a researcher, you would know how important those dollars are. Yes. They come from people. Talk to me a little bit about CN Cycle, how important May 4th is, and do you participate on May 4th? What do you do? What do you participate?
I do.
How do you participate?
So, I mean, until now, I've been involved with the walk, and this time I'm hoping, because I've been progressing. This will be my third CN cycle since I've moved here. So this time I'm hoping to graduate to actually cycling.
That's fantastic. It would take me 3 years too, by the way. So that's great. But the vibe that day, the energy that everyone's there. As I was saying to Carissa, wonderful patient, of course, from CHEO. As I was saying to her, there's an energy in that, in that area that day that you just can't, it's palpable in the air.
You have to be there to feel it, right?
True. Yeah, beautiful. And all the volunteers that they're looking for, that's such an important component as well.
Yes, very true. And as you rightly highlighted, right? I mean, without research, without having donor and community support is almost not doable, right? And for me, CN Cycle, as you said, for all the other reasons, apart from that, is sort of not just a fundraiser. It actually, for me, is a lifeline and a hope for family and children, right? Wow. Every dollar that is raised there actually helps us launch a new trial, get more cutting-edge technologies and treatments for children, and provide access for those kids who might have never got that. Right, and that is a matter of the fact that cancer is not going to wait, and so we should not as well, and we should be constantly working and trying to see how we make quality of life better and improve the cures for all the patients.
As I was saying earlier in the show, I have such a hard time putting the word children and cancer in the same sentence. Do you still struggle with that, even though this is your life's work?
I don't think you can ever not struggle with that. And I think this is a conscious decision you make when you actually choose a profession like pediatric oncology. Having said that, I must say that it is a very gratifying sort of profession, because for majority of childhood cancers, we have achieved cure rates which are in excess of 80%.
Wow.
So we have come a long way, and we feel sort of privileged and lucky that we are the people who can offer that to majority of the children who are coming through door, while always trying to work with our community donors and patients to make sure that we keep pushing the envelope and keep improving the cure rates, and as I said, not just cure, but a meaningful cure.
And take me back to when you were a young man. Could you ever imagine this would be the work you'd be doing?
No, I never thought about it.
No?
No.
Do you remember when you decided to become a doctor, a researcher?
Yes, so I do. I remember very clearly when I decided to become a pediatric oncologist. So, and actually, a lot of things when we are young is influenced by our mentors and teachers. So I still remember very clearly. I was in second year of my pediatrics, doing residency, and there was a new young professor who had come in as an oncologist to our. We did not have an oncologist until then in our sort of hospital, and when the professor joined, and the first time we had a patient with new leukemia, and they showed me, a good article from New England Journal, which is one of the famous journals. And just seeing the diagram there of how, showing how the cells are and how we are curing them, I knew that moment that I am going to do pediatric oncology after that.
Really? I love that story. And it really speaks to, to the fact that you were inspired and that mentor, and you're probably inspiring somebody as we're speaking right now about, donating, about participating in this event. So it comes full circle.
Yeah, it's always, you pass it on forward, right? The good things that you get.
You pass it forward. And when you think about all the people that you've met, is there someone that stands out for you?
So definitely, I think all patients stand out, but there are few who stand out more than others. And I still remember one of my patients, obviously, for privacy, I won't take the name, but who had brain tumor. And unfortunately, is no longer with us. But even at recurrence, every time, would come and would actually get handmade sort of letters and gift for us at Christmas. I still have them in my office. And I think you need that sort of everyday going into work to sort of know what difference you're making and where you couldn't make, so it keeps inspiring you. And having, those things in my office always inspire me to keep doing more and more every day.
Talk to me about your team.
We have an amazing team at CHEO across oncology, because I work with them. So they're amazing. And as you know, the daily sort of mental challenge that we go with pediatric oncology, obviously they are the ones who share that closest, right? Because they deal with and live with it daily. And then we have a great research institute and the foundation, without which actually the trials that I'm doing would have never happened, right? So there is great advocacy from within the team, a lot of understanding and recognition within the group, not only at CHEO, but we work very closely with the university and the foundation and RI. I should specifically mention Dr. Berman, who is our CEO of Research Institute, and he has been instrumental in, trying to bridge this. And recently, we actually got approval from the board to further expand and consolidate the clinical trials infrastructure at CHEO, which is great, and we'll be able to bring more such trials and keep doing it day in, day out. And I think I would not have done justice if in every conversation I don't bring patients and our families, because they are the ones who actually keep us going every time.
Well, and it just seems like it's patient-centered care. Yes. Putting the patient and the family in the middle of the room, and everybody works around them. I think that's the difference between CHEO and maybe other organizations, that they really have this opportunity to embrace the whole family. And we heard from Emily Johnson a little bit earlier about the mental health side of it. Cancer just isn't the physical piece, which is really so important as well. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to just share about what inspires you to say you're a doctor working at CHEO.
So the great team and the difference that we do daily, and the fact that, from a place, at one sort of center in Canada, we are able to bring in changes and bring in trials that are not only impacting patients in Ottawa, but across Canada and now globally, is something which, you can only always wish for and dream for. And I'm so happy that it is sort of a reality in which we are living it, and that keeps inspiring me daily.
Amazing. You've inspired me. Thank you so much, Dr. Thacker. I appreciate it very much.
It was
all
lovely.
of our guests inspired me today. I hope that you participate in CN Cycle. You can volunteer, you can walk, you can run, you can ride your bike, you can volunteer, you can do it all. And
just
of course, just be there, and you can donate, absolutely. I'm Sam Laprade. This has been An Hour to Give. Remember, CHEO is our hospital.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the